This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Yes.
Everybody woosah.
Yeah, 45 minutes later.
Yeah, we're getting the electrical feedback.
That's because the phone's new.
It's weird how sensitive that is. I don't that. It's so strange.
Speaking of that, hello and welcome back to We'll Run For. This is your host, Tom, and with me as always are Aaron.
Hello.
Michael.
Hello.
And Diana.
Hi. Michael's been through it.
He has been through it.
Been through the ringer today.
We spent 45 minutes trying to get set up with something new and fancy. And after all that time, we're back to our normal setup.
Back to basics again.
Back to the basics.
You know what, Michael? At least you're trying to innovate and make this more efficient, more easy. Like
All we want to do is just make it easier.
all you're doing
That's
is
it.
you're trying, and the most frustrating part is when something should be easy.
And
it
it's
just
not.
for one reason or
Yeah.
another isn't. I hate.
Oh, that's when you get the most mad.
I get so
That's
mad.
me. Yeah, that's me. I'm not allowed to get mad at it anymore.
Yeah, I am. I've tried
She's
to.
forbid me.
I've tried to give him lessons in being calm.
I'll tell you what helps when someone's mad is telling them not to be mad.
Yeah.
Tom had this conversation with me today, or yesterday,
Oh yeah.
about
yeah,
how
yeah.
I should not do that to Michael.
That's got a 100% success rate as far as I know.
Wow.
Well, in
for sure.
positive news, it's November, 3rd, 4th?
Fourth.
Oh my god.
And I'm
That's
looking at my
insane.
Christmas tree. It's not decorated, but it's up. It's up.
To be fair, we look at our Christmas tree year round.
It's
So.
true.
As a matter of fact, I put a brand new
metal
shiny
on the
metal on
tree.
it today.
Ooh.
God.
Yep.
Not stop talking about it.
It's becoming a lot. It's just
Isn't that what we're here for?
That's
Aren't
pretty
we
much
supposed to talk about
the
it?
only reason we're speaking right now.
Yes. Oh, quickly, since this will be named New York Marathon with metastatic breast cancer, because I'm gonna hit all the algorithms. So if you're listening to this because it's a New York City Marathon recap, feel free to use the chapters if you don't want to listen to the rest of the stuff and go to the recap, because it's gonna be a while before we get there. So go to chapters, click marathon, boom, you'll be right to that recap.
Well, there you go. Now you know.
But you'll miss goal getters and all that stuff. So
I
if
mean,
it's your
nobody
first
wants
time-
to do that.
If it's your first time, I get it.
All right.
They just want to recap. I get it.
and if it's your first time, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. Just
Yes, yeah.
yeesh.
Here's the thing.
Welcome.
Here's the thing. Between Michael and I, we waved our flag at
Yep.
50,000 people yesterday.
did.
So if we don't get one new listener out of it, I swear to God.
And
We did.
Wine and Dine was
Ooh,
over the weekend as well, and they interviewed Aaron's other podcast,
Oh, Stephanie.
and
Yep.
she said we'll run for it live
She did.
On the Jumbotron.
on the Jumbotron.
She did.
So
Amazing.
Famous.
welcome.
You know what's good is we weren't even there and got a mention. Kind of
Yeah.
like how Rise and Run wasn't at their meetup at New York City Marathon
Except
and got
that
a
they
mention.
only got mentioned. Well, this is a troll for our friend Doug.
Oh,
who
God.
decided that he wanted to do a Rise and Run meetup with 3 of the hosts from Will Run For,
It's weird.
but called it the Rise and Run meetup.
Are you
And we were like,
serious?
yes, I'm dead
To be
serious.
fair, he put it together in their Facebook group.
Put it
but-
together in their Facebook group and was like, hey, we're going to do a Rise and Run. I was thinking about doing a Rise and Run meetup. I was like, you mean with the hosts of Will Run For that will actually be at the
Presented
race?
by Will Run For. I'm
Oh
gonna pee
God,
my
that's what it
pants.
should have been. Oh man,
Hey,
it was
hey, Rise and
amazing.
Run. Who do we send the invoice to? Because I know you got money.
Oh, from all that merch you're selling.
All that Patreon and all that,
Oh yeah, their Patreon.
all your swag merch.
God, could you imagine
Right?
the content we'd put out on a Patreon?
Oh my God.
We'd need a special page. It wouldn't be. It would be bad.
Oh God.
I
we
will
did
not-
see.
Yeah.
We did see John though the next day.
We did. Yeah. Yeah, he was out there cheering. It was
Yeah.
really nice to see him. I got a hug for him while I waited 7 minutes for my
me and
husband and
Tom.
Tom to get off the subway.
Settle down.
And I stood still at mile 17
Aaron, I don't
and a
know if-
half just waiting.
We went from Brooklyn to 86th Street. Okay, that's not easy to do.
I'm pretty sure I managed it last year.
Well,
on
we
time
wanted
see
to
all
give
the-
our time to everyone.
Oh, the husband of mine.
I am
ran
not your
like
husband.
20 miles to see you how many
Well,
times?
Tom
did.
could have stayed behind and you could have just left him there.
No.
Anyway, we'll
Aaron,
get into all the
it's fine.
recapping in a little bit.
I even thought about like running to Queens to see you.
Oh my
I
God.
Before-
did see, to get back to trolling Rise and Run, I did also see there was a handmade sign, and someone
yes.
wrote, "We'll run for" at
Yeah.
the bottom of it.
So,
What happened there? What's that?
So this was the Doug thing again because we started this whole trolling
Oh,
thing.
Doug is
And
the
then
best,
he
I
was
swear.
like, "I'm gonna make a sign for for the meetup. Or for cheering, so that you guys can all find me." This was in the Rise and Run like New York City Marathon messenger chat, and so he makes the sign. It says the whole logo with the Rise and Run thing, and I'm like, again, where's the will run for?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, I'm just joking, I promise. And next thing I know, he's like, don't worry, I got you covered. And then he sends me another picture of it where he put at the bottom in that little tiny lettering, plus will run for.
I can't. That's
It was
hysterical.
so good. It was so good. Oh man. So we had a Will Run for Rise and Run, the War on Cars meetup.
But we forgot to bring our on the runs, pace yourself, or run, eat, drink.
Oh, we had
podcast
pace
stickers
yourself too.
or
Yeah,
merch
Jeez.
or something that we should have been
Yeah.
able to just
Yeah.
hand out there.
What if we
at
brought
that meetup?
running on tap stickers?
Oh my God, running and tap. I miss running and tap.
I miss
Whatever
those
happened to those guys?
If you guys are out there,
Hey, you know what
By
we did?
the way,
You know what we didn't do?
Wait, what?
Our October challenge.
Oh yeah,
Or
Oh, I thought
November.
there was going to be a
Our
November.
November
We
challenge.
changed it to November. I was going to bring up something else too, but we can talk about that. It's going to be a November challenge. Maybe we should just jump into Christmas.
I think we should just do a Christmas challenge because it's already November something or other. And the next time we turn around and blink, it's going to be the end of November.
Oh my
So
gosh.
if we start planning the
Look,
holiday
guys,
one
the
now,
Happy
holiday
New
one
Year.
is really-
yeah. We may as well just do a New Year's challenge
The
at this
Christmas
point.
one is pretty easy. I mean, there's so many things I could put
Let's
on a Christmas challenge.
let's do that then.
So
How's that sound?
fine, we're gonna
Yeah.
wait till December or Tom's
When's Christmas? This
Tom's
is
When
getting
is
December.
annoyed.
Christmas? This
No,
year?
when is Thanksgiving this year?
I don't know, in like 3 weeks.
The 27th?
Oh my God,
It's
it's
late.
actually kind of correct. All right, I mean,
It's
so
the 28th.
December 1st kind of like lines up because it's the 28th. So you know what? Everyone's gonna start putting up their decorations. So let's start it on November 29th, Black Friday,
Okay.
and we'll run it from Black Friday, and we'll do 12 days for the 12 days of Christmas. Only it'll just be earlier, the first 12 days of
We'll
Christmas.
do the 12 days of Thanksgiving.
Yes,
There we go.
Oh,
with
the-
Christmas things.
we could do Christmas things. We could also do like a 12-day challenge of something. I don't know why we
Listen.
decide we need to brainstorm on live while we're recording.
This is a good point.
Like,
I'm
this
This is
still
a good
is-
point.
I'm still pretty unclear as to what we're doing. I liked the scavenger hunt idea.
Okay.
But to what end?
To what end?
Well,
No, no.
we've always, I mean, I've been mailing giveaways, and so I'm sure there'll be some sort of Christmas pair of gooders again. So we'll do another set of gooders and find some other fun stuff. Maybe it'll even be Christmas themed. Maybe I'll find some Christmas running socks or something to
Oh,
send
that's
you.
fun.
Oh.
Yeah, there will be a prize pack. We'll figure it out.
Enough
All right.
brainstorming.
Anyway, moving on.
Because it's going to be a long recap.
Diana mentioned that Wine and Dine happened this weekend, so I just wanted to quickly shout out everyone who was there. We were not there, but I hear that Rise and Run had a Will Run for meetup, and that was very nice of them.
Nice.
But just some quick takes on it. I hear that mini waves were done very differently in corrals D and E, and I just wanted to share some information about it. Rise and Run will do a full recap. I'm 1,001% sure.
So, as usual, if you want actual news and facts, head over there.
Head over there. But I just thought it was really interesting because people were talking about the mini waves and how, Run Disney likes to just make things harder and more difficult every single race.
Yeah.
So in D and E, they decided that the mini waves, they were going to let the people into the corral, and then once a certain number of people got into the corral, they were going to then tape off those people and start the next mini wave. So they did the mini waves within the corrals, not as they were walking out towards the actual start line.
What happens if you have to pee?
You get a code word. You get a code word to get back into your spot.
Oh my God.
And if your friend, so if the corrals open, say at 4 a.m. and you got in at 4 a.m., but your friend went to go pee and didn't get into the corral with you and was like still waiting for somebody else, or like wanted to say hi or take a picture, and then was going to meet you in the corral, you no longer could meet your friend at the beginning of the corral where they were saving your spot, which I guess is what they're trying to eliminate, is people saving large areas.
That makes sense.
Well, I
agree with
understand
that.
if it's like 20 people, but for like one person, and can't you text someone a code word? Well, I guess how would you know the code word unless you were leaving?
If you were standing near
I guess
there.
if you're standing near there, and or you just say, hey, I need to go out, and then you come back in, and then you tell your friend, and then they come back in. But like, again,
What a nightmare.
it's way too complicated, and that's the whole point.
Just
Like, I don't understand.
just assign people sections in the corral. Have B1 corral
Well, we were
B
talking-
1,
it
2,
used to be
3,
like
4.
S1, S2,
Yeah,
S3.
just do that.
They had changed
Yeah.
like the way they did the corrals in
Just do it. Just do
post-COVID.
that. Yeah.
I don't.
Well, then they need to just do, if they want to get into that, just have more corrals. Have them go to like M like they used to.
Yeah, just do more corrals. That would make more sense, actually. Just do more
Like,
corrals. Yeah.
Do more corrals or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a time that they had like so many corral
Yeah, it used to
letters.
go really far back, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like they used to.
Just
I
do
don't
more
know.
corrals. I don't know.
I don't know. This was the big thing that happened this weekend, from what I was
The
told.
drama. I don't
that,
know how I missed all of
Well,
that.
I think the big issue is you can't get in and out to the porta pots. That's just stupid.
Well, yes.
I'm sorry, that's just dumb.
That-
They should have thought of that ahead of time and organized that better. You can't keep putting things on people with code words and stuff like that. Like the people who are there working the corral shouldn't have to worry about
No,
that
they're
when somebody
getting
has to go to
yelled
the
at all the
bathroom.
time
Yeah.
anyway.
And honestly,
Like,
Yeah.
even with the mini corral thing in general, they shouldn't be getting yelled at, because that, like, we've all gotten used to them doing quote unquote mini corrals in the fact that they take that tape and like section off the
but
different
that tape
areas
seems
as
really
you're walking.
easy. Like,
Yes,
there's
that's what
I
nothing
don't
wrong with that tape.
understand.
Like, it's
It
not a
seemed to
complicated
have worked. Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
seem like it didn't
I
work,
don't
right?
Yeah, I'm not actually understanding why they made this move.
I don't
Yeah,
know
what
either.
what
I don't
what was the problem they were trying to solve?
And
Yeah,
it
that's
was
a good
only
question.
from my understanding, it was only in corrals D and E. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that is because we knew someone in B and they did not have this.
Well, unless they didn't see it, if it was behind them.
No, they were like in the back of B.
Okay, if they were in the back, okay.
Or people just need to pay for Club Run Disney and
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like that's
probably
that's
why
probably
B
this
didn't have it.
motivation.
Idiots.
Yeah.
I feel like that this is their motivation. No, we heard that C didn't have it. It was only in D and E.
interesting.
Like
wonder
from the people that were all there.
Yeah.
Because the Club Run Disney people end up in B or C or somewhere like in there,
They
right?
end up in B.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if proof of time, though, extended into.
I
since
wonder
they
if it was
changed
everything behind proof of time.
Yeah, everything behind proof of time.
Wonder if that was the case.
We can move on. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. But yeah, I don't know. Tom, what else you got for us?
I'm pretty sure we don't have any new 5-star reviews, although I'm really hoping that a handful of those 50,000 runners that saw our flag yesterday
Give us a 5-star
will
review.
be subscribers.
Did you happen to listen to my episode of Run, Eat, Drink last week?
Yes.
Yes,
I
I
did.
did. Yes, I
Did
did.
you happen to listen to the end
Oh, I remember this now, yeah.
where you were voluntold that you will now be running for 5 stars for Run, Eat, Drink, On the Runs, Rise and Run, and Will Run For?
We're holding this community together.
Here's the deal. I'll do it for 3 of them, but I will not work for Rise and Run.
All right, we can drop Rise and Run since Doug betrayed us. So
But Doug's got them good cookies.
No.
Oh, man, his cookies were good.
Yeah, those were good.
Yeah, he had good
He
cookies.
brought
man.
cookies to
He
the
brought
meetup.
cookies to the meetup.
Yeah, it's true.
They were really good too.
It's true.
All right, fine.
Hey,
Yeah,
what are we running for this week?
I'm
Choking
not
on
running.
my iced tea.
Diana's choking on her iced tea.
Diana's running to choke on her iced tea.
I
I am not running at all this week. Well, maybe,
you should.
Maybe
You got to
much
train
later.
for Dopey.
Maybe much later this week, but
I was thinking, you don't have anything else on your calendar, girl. Get after it. But nope.
this was a training run for Dopey, apparently.
Yeah.
A catered training run. All right, so you're not running.
Yeah, she needs a rest, and then she's got to get back out there.
I know. I'm running for Scary Bridges because this Sunday, my brother and I are doing the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Oh, that's Diana's favorite race.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not doing it.
If you Google what is the most dangerous bridge
Yep.
in the United States,
Human history.
AI, which is stupid, and you heard me say it, gives a list of bridges that are scary and bridges that are structurally deficient. And the Annapolis Bay Bridge is the first one that pops up.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh my god, I hate that bridge so
We
much.
are
And we've
number
had this
one.
conversation
We
so
are
many
number one.
times, and it's still true.
I actually don't mind when I'm driving myself over the bridge. I just
hate
can't do
it.
that bus. I can't be on that bus on that bridge anymore. I had a
I
legit
hate it.
panic attack last year. I can't do it.
I had a panic attack in a regular car, so yeah,
And it's
no way.
cold. It's always cold, like afterwards. Like the lines afterwards are too long. It's always miserable.
This is very positive right now, Tom.
No, I'm
what are you
I'm running
for?
because I get to do a 10K with my brother over a scary bridge. That's what I'm
Oh,
running
that's
for.
cool. Yeah.
Diana, what are you running for?
I'm running for soft foods
Oh,
because
I
God.
started
All right,
asking
all
this
right,
question,
Meemaw.
and then I got I started asking this
Gumming.
question.
I'm gumming my food.
But with all the
I
drama, I forgot. How's your?
I had to have a gum graft done on Friday because I
What
brushed my
that?
teeth too hard. So
What is a gum
Oh.
graft?
so I brushed my teeth so hard my gums were starting to recede
Okay.
like a hairline, like they were a receding hairline on my gum. So this is disgusting. So they have to graft gum tissue onto the existing gum to like build it up like a toupee that you stitch on for
Okay.
your gums. Now, there are 2 ways you can get this.
Yep.
Option 1, roof of your mouth. They'll take the skin off the roof of your mouth and then they'll just slap it on there. Option 2, human tissue. I don't know, cadaver. That's what I'm thinking.
So
and that's
awesome.
what's
You
in
have
my
a
mouth
dead-
right
you
now.
Said now you
She
have a dead
has
person's.
A dead person in her
Mouth.
I
mouth.
have
in your
dead
mouth.
people in my mouth, and it's legit stitches. So you know, like when you get wisdom teeth out, it's those stitches that like dissolve.
Yeah, yeah.
And these I have to go back and get checked, and they have to physically take them out. So I have to have stitches in my mouth for 4 weeks.
So this is interesting because I've always had like gum disease problems, and like chemo's making my teeth bleed regularly, and I haven't been back to the dentist in a while. And the last time I was at the dentist, they told me that they measured like the gum line because they said I was having some like something like where they said that if it gets too bad, they have to do like repair to your gum line.
Yep, that's
So
what it
I'm
is.
thinking that that's what this is, and now I'm kind of scared that next time I go to the dentist, that's what they're going to tell me. And now I'm kind of grossed out by this whole idea.
Well, I think what they like if they were taking skin off the roof of my mouth, I think they would have put me under like a local anesthesia. For this, they just numbed I was going to use the S word. They numbed the crap out of me all over. And I couldn't feel pain, but like this woman surgeon was like manhandling me. I was so like I had like tears in my eyes because she was so rough. Like I didn't like Tom picked me up and I was like I didn't like that at all. Like I didn't
no.
like I felt uncomfortable, and then she like I was leaning towards her, but then the other girl was on the other side and she was like pulling stuff across my face. So it was like making my head turn, and she was yelling at me for not facing her, but she was super rough, and then she had numbed me all over before the start, and then she started doing stuff and then stuck a huge ass needle in the roof of my mouth to like numb more, but she didn't tell me it was coming. So all of a sudden there was like a needle in my mouth. Like everything
God.
about it was terrible. I hated it. I like wanted to cry. And then like they were like pulling, I guess, with the stitch string out of my mouth. And it was so hard. I have cuts in my lip, like from the string. It was awful. I didn't like it at all.
So I'm going to go ahead and say I do not want this to happen to me. And now I have to figure out how to make my gum stop bleeding so that I could like make this not happen. Because they like, is that like what they did to you? Did they measure like where they, I don't know. Because I don't know.
They didn't do really anything. It took like 20 minutes once they started.
No, I meant quick. Like beforehand to determine whether or not you needed this.
I don't know. My regular dentist said I needed it. And he said I should do it now because it was kind of only in one small spot. And if I get it now, it'll prevent it from getting worse. And so I just went ahead and did it. And so he doesn't do it. So I had to go to a different, like a surgeon to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go in, and I like my dentist a lot. We have a great rapport, and I'm going to yell at him for sending him to that lady who was very mean and rough with me, and I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, but you're being real brave about it.
And now I have to eat soft food. I can eat like meats and things like that, but I can't have chips, and it's actually ruining my life. Because I eat a lot of chips.
No potato chips.
I can't eat
ruin my life too.
like
I love
Tostitos or like I can't have anything crunchy.
That makes sense because it might accidentally stab it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't have anything crunchy, and I have to only eat on one side of my mouth. And I'm on an antibiotic. I've got 800 milligram ibuprofen, and then I have prescription grade mouthwash because I can't brush over there. I can brush everywhere else with a regular toothbrush, but I can't brush over there. Prescription grade mouthwash. And the girl says to me, like right as I'm leaving, hey, if that starts to turn your teeth brown, stop using it and get something over the counter.
What?
And I was like, why is that? Like, what would cause that? Like, why is that my new problem?
Wait,
because
what?
I would rather, that's like the word, you guys know me, I'm an awful person. So having my teeth be brown, I can't do it. Like I can take a lot of things, but cosmetic things, I can't.
I'm not sure how I feel about this entire thing.
And then I was thinking, well, this mouthwash is obviously going to be like brown colored or something. And it looks just like regular mouthwash. So I don't know why it would turn your teeth brown.
Yeah, like that seems like a bad side effect.
I was like, oh, ma'am.
Like that's truth.
So yeah, now I don't know. I'm eating a lot of soup and Jello, pudding. I don't know.
Same amount of candy though.
Well, same amount of candy. Well, also I have a whole bowl of Tootsie Rolls and I can't eat them.
Oh gosh, you guys are too chewy. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I'm scared. I bet I could
you'll
get
get
there
to them eventually, right?
I'll get to them eventually.
Let's see. I guess I am what did I say? I said I am running for the love of movement because I was so inspired by all you New York City marathoners yesterday that you inspired me to love movement and love myself and keep moving and keep running.
I thought you were gonna.
Gabagoo.
I thought you were about to say that you registered for the New York City Marathon.
Hell no. That is like, all right.
That would be your
Look,
nightmare.
That would be my absolute nightmare. I love cheering it. Super fun. I do not like big city races, as we've all discussed many times. The logistics. I don't want to wait 2 hours to get in a crowd. I want to drive up to a race and just start. Like that's
It also really made me start questioning. What's the movie? Runs a marathon.
Brittany
runs a marathon.
It's not that easy. I feel like they bury the lead in how quickly she got into that race.
She didn't
Yeah.
get in, though.
Well, no, she didn't get in the first year.
first
She got in
time.
the second
Yeah.
time, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just goes there by herself and whatever. I am 10 seconds away from registering.
Yeah, wasn't it like a big plot point? Like she didn't get in,
Yes.
and then her friends were going to give her money for charity, but she was like, "No, I'm a martyr," and then like fell off the wagon for a bit,
And then got in it the next year.
and
or
then got
something
in it
that.
like
Yeah.
the next year or two or something.
So Cody, who we met this weekend,
Yes.
he first of all is a very tall man, and you know when you picture people a certain way from their Instagram,
Mhm.
super extra tall was not in my head. And so when we took the picture and he's like towering over everyone, I was like, yeah, Cody's pretty tall.
Yes, he is.
He is one of the like 1 in a million who got in on his very first try.
Oh, that's
He was
awesome.
like, I'm never going to get in anyway, so I'll just sign up for this race because only 4% of people get in. So he didn't expect to get in. And then all of a sudden he got in on his first try and everyone was like, well, now you need to play the real lottery.
Yeah.
But also, like, F you.
Yeah.
That's
They're
wild.
like, people are going to be really excited for you, but also really mad at you, is what people told him.
I mean, that's what would happen to me because I'd be like, I'm just going to enter it this year, and I'm really not going to get in.
Yeah, and that's exactly
And
what he
then-
said.
yeah.
And then he was like, well, then I guess I have to run it now.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because if he tells people he got in on his first try and then doesn't run it, people would be so mad at him.
Oh my god. I will say I did my own mini half marathon
Oh
through
my
the
God.
city, and I love running through the city, so that was fun.
Wow.
What?
So, Michael,
Even
would
with
you
how
say
crowded it
that
was.
maintaining your love of movement is a goal of yours?
Wow,
Yes,
these
yes, it
segments
is.
are amazing.
Look,
And now, it's time for our Will Run 4 Goal Getters. Congrats on making your goals, you getters. Oh, you raise the shit.
So, our friend Tim, who, by the way, can I just say, he posted some photo over the weekend and it looked like he was wearing a unitard. Like, his nipples were out, but he was also wearing, like...
Oh, he's a try. He probably
triathlete.
probably his try
No,
thing. Try kit.
it was just I don't want to say a lot of nipple because he's shirtless a lot, so it wasn't that. It was like the proximity to the unitard.
it was an acceptable amount of nipple.
It was.
Can we please read this?
All right. I guess since I'm paying for a gym membership, I should be going. Over the last few weeks, recommitted to lifting weights regularly, even if that means not getting in more endurance-focused workout, i.e. bike, swim. It's been fun just working out and not being concerned to how this aligns to a training plan. God, it's so invigorating. More importantly, I've started to remind myself that a bad decision, skipping a workout, drinking, eating too much, does not preordain the next decision point to be poor. Love that.
That's good.
That's a great one.
Yeah. If I miss a workout, that's fine. And make sure I get something done on the next opportunity, which could be later that day or the next day. My next goal is to sleep better so I can get back to my before work workouts. I used to somewhat easily get up at 5:30 or 6 to get something done to remove the excuse for the day.
Those are great goals.
There's so much wisdom in there.
Yep.
Yep.
Like, God. Good to hear from you again, Tim.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, don't let the previous day's bad decision snowball.
Yeah. So I was going to call it a bike bib, but then I thought that maybe I was calling it the wrong thing, but it is. It's called a bike bib, and I just sent you a picture on Messenger, guys.
Oh, boy.
I think.
Can
I'm concerned.
we
Hold on.
please move past
tried.
Tim's nipples?
No.
I can't. It wasn't the nipples.
No.
First
It was
it's
the
Tony's
whole...
sexy little shorts. Now it's
Um,
Tim's nipples. Diana,
Well, I just want you to see,
I've been reading too
see
much
this
Fairy
because
you've been reading
I
too much
want to
smut.
know whether this is what Tim's. Why is this not going through? Damn it. Okay, moving on.
This is not.
I'll send it in the meantime. We have Dawn B. Joyful.
Oh, that's what
who
he had
says-
on. That's what he had
I swear to God, Michael. This
That's what he was
is
wearing.
going to. That's crazy. That is
That's
crazy.
Did you swipe to look at the man that's in it?
Had on.
That
Did he look like
I
that?
cannot believe that is a piece of clothing that is sold.
I told you I wanted to call it a bike bib, but I wasn't 100% sure I was right. And
I thought it was
Googled bike
homemade.
bibs,
I
and
thought
that's-
he made it. That's what it looked like.
Oh my Lord!
We have spent a lot of time on Tim's
I'm
nips.
sorry. I've been
Dawn be
thinking
joyful.
about it since I've seen it.
Oh my god. Dawn be joyful says completed the wine and dine 2-course challenge.
That's awesome. Great job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Congratulations. And then EcoFit also says I achieved my goal of completing the Marine Corps Marathon.
Awesome.
And hitting all the gauntlets.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
I'm
amazing.
really considering doing it again too. I also put my name into the Chicago Marathon lottery and plan to put it in for the NYC lottery too. Fingers crossed. And next up, Princess Half. Massive congratulations to Erin and all the runners of NYC and Wine and Dine, and Michael for his 100-miler. Does Tom have to do 5 miles for Pace Yourself? It's Just Cancer 5-star reviews.
Oh,
Yes,
there's
he
Because
does.
I will absolutely resubmit mine just for that.
Hey, if it gets you guys some likes, have at it.
Well, I mean, we did promise on Run Eat Drink that you were going to do that, so
Yeah, you're committed to aiming.
Here we
at
are
Damon
now.
Sorry.
Uh,
Let's see. Mary's Better Health. That's a new name, right?
what? Yeah, unless there was somebody who changed their handle.
That's very possible. I've been chasing a 5:30 marathon finish for 2 years. Level unlocked at the NYC Marathon.
Congratulations. That's really cool.
Yeah,
That
you
is
guys
awesome.
had great weather, so it
Yeah,
seemed
oh
like
my
it was
gosh.
perfect, like PR
Was
conditions. So congratulations,
Insanely
everybody.
perfect.
So good with that weather. Beth runs Disney. Now that Wine and Dine is over, it's straight on until Dopey. I need to stay motivated using the awesome training program and strength training that had me feeling so awesome during the 2-course challenge. Oh, that's cool. That's good. Finding a good training program and what that works for you, that is awesome. As you know, I follow a lot of training plans.
Yes.
Yeah,
Never.
it's your essence.
It's my essence.
All right. All right. Our friend Miles and Crowns. Get celebratory donuts with Aaron and train for Goofy.
Aw.
Ooh.
It's a good goal.
I do like donuts, and the donut place she took me when we had lunch recently was delicious. Michael, as a matter of fact, shared those donuts with me.
Yes.
They had like these. They were all cream filled, but the cream was like really light and fluffy.
Oh.
It's delightful.
And this is a new name. It's either Tamara or Tamara's Tata Journey.
Titties.
I want to hit 500 Orange Theory classes by the end of the year.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, she and I have been connecting on Instagram. She's in the middle of her own breast cancer
Oh,
journey.
cool.
So, she's also a runner.
Well,
We
welcome to
are-
the Will Run For family.
I'm sorry you missed our Orange Theory era.
Yeah.
We did have a long.
We're
We
not
did have an
go-
Orange Theory
We're
era.
not going back.
I'm going back
Tom
at some
hated
point.
it.
I'm committed. I loved it.
Well, we're not going back because, unfortunately, the classes are too crowded with chemo and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I
it's
did find a
difficult.
new gym
Yeah.
that I'm thinking about joining. That's much smaller,
yeah.
but it has the Orange Theory hit
Nah, gotcha. Hit class
Um,
stuff.
what's it called? The rotations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it curves?
No, it's just
it's like
yeah.
a one-off in our town.
Yeah.
Do you remember curves? Do they
Yeah.
still
Yes,
exist?
I
Yes,
do
there were
remember
so
curves, actually.
many of
Yeah.
them all
There
over
were
for a long
so
time.
many of them.
Yeah.
All right. Our friend up in Philly, Briah. How do you pronounce her name, Tom?
Thera?
Ah, okay.
Thera? Is that
I
from
don't know
one of
if
the
she-
books or
Yes,
something?
she
Oh,
reads-
God.
I don't know if she
She
reads
does.
this.
She's definitely does.
She does.
All right, Nesta.
All right. She was just raised as Manon at the Renaissance Festival.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, that's Throwing a Glass. You're not there
It's in the
yet.
glass.
Running and lifting at the same time is not going well. Maybe I'll get some training runs in before marathon weekend. Oh, God. Good luck.
I mean,
Maybe.
listen, she killed it at Loopy Looper.
She did.
With barely
Yeah.
any
Great.
run training
Yeah.
because of how much strength training she's doing.
Yeah.
So I.
She's a
Yeah,
beast.
you do
Stand
want to.
behind
You
you.
do want to get a few runs in, though.
Yeah, well, I agree,
I would
but, you
say. Just here and there.
And then we've got Meg. Run consistently post New York City Marathon to fight the onslaught of seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
We in it.
Do you recognize that name,
I
Michael?
do.
Who is our friend Meg?
Oh yeah, Tom missed out on this.
Ooh,
Oh.
the price of fame.
So we had a price of
Tom.
fame. We were standing in front of the Hilton on 6th Ave, watching the 5K the day before the marathon.
Yeah, like over 11,000 people run this race. It's
Yeah.
insane the number of people that go by.
And we were standing there with Mike from Disnerd, and Meg came up and was like, "Hey, you are the Michael, right?" We're like, "Oh yeah, we are."
It's like, I listened to your
I was
podcast.
like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Oh, that's really nice.
So cool.
In a city of millions of people, in a race where 50,000 people run,
They say there's 8 million dreams.
Oh.
and one of those dreams is Tom's dream of someone coming up to him and asking him if he's Tom from Will Run For. And instead, Michael and I had that moment for him.
Aw.
Tom
I
is
would-
still on the train.
I would die if that happened to me. Guys, please don't come up to me. I mean, come up to me in public, but I'm going to be really weird about it.
It's happened to you several
I
times.
know, but I'm always so awkward. I don't know
I
what
mean,
to
it's-
say.
We actually said it was as random as when someone came up to you
Swift?
at the Taylor Swift.
Or you saw
thing.
somebody at the
You were in
But-
the merch
booth.
line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
I
merch
actually
line.
think that one might be more random.
That's probably more random.
because at least we were at a running event where there's a lot of runners.
And
That is a good point.
to be fair, at Taylor Swift, I was also dressed like a lunatic. I had on this, like,
Yes.
roughly hot pink dress with, like, heart-shaped sunglasses in my hair. I was covered in glitter.
Yeah, like I
They
feel
knew.
like at least there was like a 1 in 55,000 chance.
That's
here,
true.
Whereas at the Taylor Swift concert, those
What are the
chances
odds?
like
Yeah.
really much smaller.
That's way smaller. Yeah.
I'd like to think that the Venn diagram of the people that listen to this podcast and Taylor Swift fans is a circle, but it's not.
Where's
well, I
Ego
mean,
Fit?
you did
Just
get
hanging
to
out?
meet.
Yeah,
you
they're all
did
in
get to
NASA.
meet the one super fan this weekend, right?
Yes, I did, and we will get there after we get through
Okay.
these go-getters.
Danielle Ellie says, "Get through the election with my rights."
Whoop, whoop.
It's a good goal.
Tomorrow, guys.
I stand
Thoughts
by
and
that.
prayers.
If only you could control that goal all by yourself.
This will not turn into
Unfortunately.
a political podcast. However, I did clear all meetings off my calendar for tomorrow, and I'm going to be sitting on this couch drinking.
But
You need
let's
to
move on.
Wednesday.
Let's move
Yes,
on.
Lisa Knits and Trains says, get over this Disney crud and get back to training for a 100-mile bike ride in 1 month and dopey.
Nice.
Lisa
Wow.
works so freaking hard.
She
Like
does.
every
She
time I
does.
see her.
She's killing it. She kills
Yeah.
it.
And Disney crud is
For real.
real.
For real.
Yep. Legendary Bill Stewart.
Oh, yes.
He was
Sing-
not
Big
Ronald
Bird.
McDonald over the weekend.
Yeah.
He was
Oh,
Big Bird.
and he was
a
the Scarecrow. He was
And
his costume
costume.
so on point, man.
Yep.
So
Oh my
crazy.
god.
Love it.
And Tony was a naked Amish man
Oh
one
my
day.
God, I don't even know.
And Lisa, legendary Bill Stewart seeing the Will Run For family at the newest NYC Marathoner Aaron at Marathon Weekend.
Woo, woo. We can't wait, Bill.
Yeah, that's going to be
Looking
awesome.
forward to it.
I'm excited. It's coming up soon. It'll be here in the blink of an eye because we lost October without even realizing it.
Oh,
So,
God.
True.
and Scooter Doot Meredith, train for a couple of trail runs I have coming up.
Nice.
This includes investing in trail running shoes. Tom, would you like to reach out to Meredith to help her with trail running shoes?
Speed goats. That's all I know.
And also, do you like put them in your cart and pay for it?
You're supposed to. You're supposed to complete that purchase.
Complete the
I mean, he's got him now, but technically, I think I got him for your birthday or something.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like,
And they are not broken in at all.
no, he didn't like wear them at all, and then wore them to the race, and he's like, that might have been worse than wearing the other shoes.
Oh
Oh
jeez.
my God.
They hurt.
Oh man.
Who's this? Is this me?
Oh,
or-
it's you. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can take the next two. Or if you want to
Okay.
take the next three, since they're three quick ones.
You got it. Dale says that now Wine and Dine is done. Buckle down on some strength training and dopey training.
Oh,
Oh, awesome. That's a new name too. Dale_rank.
mm-hmm.
Newbie.
Somebody named Marcia says that her goal is to someday be 1/100th as amazing as
Stop.
Aaron.
Aw.
Stop that.
It's a nice comment. Seems a little pandering. Our friend Give Me All the Coffee, still trying to be consistent about strength training. Congrats
Yeah.
to everybody who ran NYC and Wine and Dine.
Yep.
Very nice.
Nice. Lori Bennett. My long-term goal is to finish my 6-star journey doing Tokyo and New York in 2025. Then I will just need Boston. Well, not anymore, sucker.
Oh yeah, this was like 2 days early. Yeah, you missed by a day. Sorry, Laurie.
Okay, now you
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
2 more
No-
because
yeah.
Australia's in, baby.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the new major. Oh my God, the dog is on me.
Oh God.
It's
We
the
didn't
little
talk-
one.
We didn't talk about the Sydney becoming a major, but yeah.
Yep. She's
Big
yeah.
news.
Can
this
we
weekend.
wait? Can we wait?
My more short-term goal is to continue strength training and complete a 24-hour race in June with the goal to
Ooh.
run 100 kilometers.
Whoa, yes!
Yes.
Wow.
Love
That's
it.
amazing.
Love it.
Join
Love
the
it.
dark side. Join
Love
the
it.
dark side.
Yep.
On the Runs says Monday, November 3rd is next year.
Yes, I put the wrong date.
Not sure what my goals are
Look, don't
yet for
fact
next year.
check us on
But
the
if I
runs.
had to choose one, I'd say meet PodFam, Meetup, NYC, and take over the Peloton studios for a day. You in? Question mark?
Oh.
I'm 100% in on that.
Yeah, let's do it.
God, I would love to go to the studios.
I want to do a Cody class because he's not Tom's favorite.
But also,
but not for any hateful reasons. I just
I
don't like
do
when
really
he stops.
He doesn't like because Cody
He stops riding
right?
all the time.
I hate it as well. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly, it's my pet peeve about him.
Oh, I don't care.
Can you go to the studio and do a scenic ride?
No. But I do enjoy that On the Runs just trolled you for calling it Monday, November.
Yes. I will not troll them back. I will say congratulations to Erica on her 100,
another
100-mile finish over the
just-
weekend
Checking those off, man,
Yep.
like they're nothing.
at Hamster Wheel, I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Just
congrats.
checking them off. Isn't
Her
that like her third one this year?
third or fourth, yeah.
Wow.
Insane.
Her runner studio will be coming up in a couple weeks.
Yep.
So yeah. So we got Tanya, Monday the 4th.
All right, we get it.
Look, I had a
You
typo.
know what you're getting
Sorry.
here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what day it is any day of the week, to be fair. It's been a long day. Yes, it was that day. Watching NYC today and cheering from afar lit some new inspiration for me. It's been a tough year of hard work at work, illness all summer, and a newly diagnosed diabetic dog. Oh, no.
Oh no.
I just want to start getting back out there regularly again and moving my body. Even if it's just like a mile or 20 minutes of stretching after work. That's it. Just some movement. That's my new mantra in life. Just move. Just get some movement.
Love it.
It's my new thing.
Run Des Nerd. Finally taking a week or two to recover.
That's a good
Nice.
idea.
Yeah.
Since you just ran
Yeah.
New York City. Since we saw him this
Yes.
weekend a few times here and there.
All over.
Yeah, no, he had a good race. I know the bridges were hard on him because he's a flatlander.
Yep.
But
He did say if he never saw another bridge again, he'd be happy.
yeah, but another star down. Look forward to Tokyo. That's it.
Yep.
And then Alicia Green. Last month, I finished the Chicago Marathon with a 9-minute PR.
Whoop,
That's
whoop.
awesome.
That's amazing.
That's a lot. That's a big PR.
That's solid.
Yeah. It was exciting to see my marathon time drop twice this fall after a great training cycle. It's weird how, when you actually train for something,
This is
It
true.
helps.
Yeah, right?
Like, we always act so surprised.
Oh, I trained for that and it went good. What the
Yeah, it's
heck?
like, oh, I didn't feel like garbage. Weird.
Yeah.
Now that I've finished up my goal races for the year, I want to finish the year with 1,000 miles and get back to the basics. The basics meaning incorporating strength back into my workout 2 to 3 times a week, something I've lacked the last couple of months. For my 1,000-mile goal, I have 105.7 miles left for the year to meet that goal, and as long as I stay maintaining running for my mental health 3 to 4 times a week. Let's finish the year strong.
Yes.
I love it.
That's great.
Awesome. Valerie says, completed all 3 races at Wine and Dine without further injuring my knee. Well, that's good. Knee surgery is scheduled for Wednesday. Wow. Finish the races, get surgery immediately. With 6 weeks of crutches. Looking forward to the rest, and will do all required rehab to be ready to at least start the 5K and half at Disney Marathon weekend. Lots of pool running to help with that.
Amazing. It's great. I also, before we finish up, or as we finish up Goal Getters, I want to give a shout out to Angie, because she texted me after she listened to the last episode where I was talking about my knee hurting and how I need to get it checked out. And she's like, you yell at everybody else to go to the doctor. Make sure you go to the doctor and take care of yourself. So I just wanted to thank Angie for holding me accountable. She's like, you would do it to somebody else. Go to the damn doctor.
That's fair.
So have you made an appointment?
I need to go get an MRI. So, and it's actually feeling better, and I think I'm doing the right thing and taking enough time and all of that. But yeah, I'm gonna get a MRI and look into what I need to do for the spring, because I still want to do springtime and Donna, and then I actually do think I'm gonna get my ACL repaired sometime next year. But just I'm not gonna sign up for anything in the fall, I don't think.
Yeah, I told Michael that I'm not signing up for anything after April right now.
Yeah.
Kind of for the same reason of wanting to take care of myself and make sure that I'm staying healthy. So I have some goals, but like I think that I need to I have a heavy race schedule between now and springtime, and I just think that to avoid some burnout and possibly hope that maybe I can have surgery myself. So I totally encourage that for you, Diana, to do the same thing and take care of yourself. You've been doing such a great job of taking care of your mental health.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to make sure that, and you've been doing good with your physical health too, but physical health also includes doing those medically necessary things.
Oh, taking care of this injury I did 6 years ago.
Yes.
That should be.
Yeah,
that
that
should be on
feels
the
like
list.
that should be on the list of things for you to do.
Just the
In
recovery
2025.
is so bad.
I know.
Is the
I'm
problem.
sure.
If it was a meniscus, I would have gotten it fixed like right away.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
yeah, that's true.
But the
But the
ACL
ACL
is so different.
Much longer recovery.
Yeah.
It's much longer.
Yeah,
It's
meniscus,
like,
you're talking like 6 weeks, 2 months, something like that. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
6 to 9 months before you can do any type of running again. Like even starting to jog, it's really bad.
And
So,
honestly,
I'm gonna
for pro athletes, you can just, like you did before, put the brace on. And,
Yeah, I know some people who have had the ACL. I mean, do you know anyone?
Yeah, so do I. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kimberly's
so-
had it. A few people have had
Okay.
it. So
Yeah, so I mean, they can at least.
they can come back. It's
Yeah.
just
Hey, Aaron,
Yeah.
start spreading the news.
How many times, Tom, did you hear the Alicia Keys New York song and or the Taylor Swift New York song? Which Michael did not know what I was talking about when I said the Taylor Swift song. I'm like, we've heard it 800 times this weekend.
Let me be clear. I tune everything. I tune all that out, like pedicabs and all that kind of stuff. Like I just tune it out. So it's just there. That I didn't know.
Can we just take an aside and say that the pedicab thing?
Yeah.
I guess I hadn't paid attention, and I don't live in a city
out of
like
control.
New York. But
Out of
man,
control. Yeah. That it's a bad call.
there should be one or two of those pedicabs in Cooper River Park because it would fit so well. Right,
And
that's the whole vibe of
it's
that
the
park.
correct vibe for that.
but
area.
they wouldn't start riding around until 1 a.m. with their speakers as loud as possible.
I mean, God.
Well, the last time we were up in the city, we almost witnessed a pedicab guy getting a fist fight with another guy.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. To be fair, so I don't know, you know how they just ask if you want to ride or whatever. You just whatever. You're just nah, whatever. You just keep walking, But I think this guy was definitely not from the area and not from the region, we'll say. And he was getting all offended or something because they were bothering him. But I'm like, you do not want to mess with the pedicab guy. He's going to knock you out.
He was ready to knock him out.
He was like, yo, this is on. I'm like, dude, you are messing with the wrong dude.
I love New York.
This guy he rides a pedicab in the city. He has no fear. What are you doing?
No. So, Aaron.
Yeah, that's me.
You are fresh off of the New York City Marathon, one of the world majors.
Yeah. I love how many people congratulated me on getting my star. I had already had this star.
Had it.
And also I'm not doing the 6 stars. So, but thank you. Thank you.
Here's a dumb question though. Do you just get a star?
Yes.
Or is it
You're
you
my star.
You have oh stop. You know how there's that medal with the 6?
Yeah, the 6 stars.
Yeah, those.
Isn't that a pentagram?
Okay, can we not?
It's actually a circle with the 6 little.
What I'm saying
I've
is
actually never seen it.
I could run the New York City Marathon and get the medal, but then do I have to register that I? Is there anything separate I have to do to get my 6-star thing?
No. So New York City automatically sends that information to Abbott, which is the world major organization. And so then you have to go claim your star. So you would go onto the Abbott's website, sign up on their website, and then you would put your name in and then basically say, I'm signing up to do the 6 stars. And so when you're now on the website, it will then show you, like, it'll pull your information from New York City and show you that you got 1 star.
Got it. Follow-up question. If New York was my final star, would my pentagram medal be there when
Yes.
Okay, so it would be there because I'm completing
So as
this.
soon as you crossed the finish line, there was a sign that said Abbott World Major Star.
Got it. Okay.
And like you went over that way, and I'm assuming that's where they handed out the medals. But yes, anyone who's ever finished their 6 star wherever, we've seen them do it. That's why you see the picture of them with their medal immediately, because Abbott is there handing out the medals for that.
Makes sense. So why don't you take us
And I don't know whether
through...
on the bib or like something there's some sort of designation for like when you come through, or if you get a wrist, like for like Fred's team, I had to go to the Fred's team tent to get a wristband. So I don't know whether like Abbott's at the Expo and like that I'm not sure about. I know there's plenty of people who listen to this pod who have had their 6 star. Erica from On the Runs has a 6 star medal. So I don't know whether she would be able to tell us, or anybody else who might have their 6 stars. Let us know how that works.
Thank you for entertaining that little tangent. Why don't you regale us with your journey in the New York City Marathon this year?
Okay.
Start.
It's kind of I was going to say this is kind of a group effort, right? Because Tom came up to cheer. Michael came to cheer as well. Diana had gum surgery, so she was cheering from afar.
I'm gonna be real. I put up my Christmas tree, and then I went to Home Goods with my mom, so I was not very engaged in watching what anyone was doing on Sunday.
But I had chemotherapy on Monday, and my first round of this specific chemotherapy was really awful.
Oh.
And 24 hours after I had it, I started vomiting for 13 straight hours and had to go get fluids and hydration the next day and anti-nausea medicine.
Oh.
And that was Wednesday. They were like, this should last you 12 hours. And then 6 hours later, I started vomiting again. So it did not last me 12 hours. And so coming into this week, I had so much anxiety because I decided to have chemo on Monday and not after the marathon because I was afraid my resistance would be really low coming out of the marathon, and then going straight into chemotherapy would be a recipe for asking for really badness. So I decided that I was going to do it the opposite way. But at the point when I hadn't had the first chemo session, so I didn't know how this was going to go. I pumped myself with anti-nausea medicine all week. I only had some like small bouts of queasiness. I did like a really good job. I think the problem was the first week, since it was a new chemo and I had no idea how it was going to treat me, I didn't do a lot of the things that I had done in my previous regimen, partly because I wanted to take it as it was going to come so that I could understand how it was going to be. And maybe that was a terrible idea, but that's sort of kind of where my head was.
Gotcha.
So this time I like started the anti-nauseas like immediately on Tuesday, knowing that Tuesday night was when I got it bad. So I started it early, or like 4 hours earlier than when it happened the first time. And I was like very regimented about making sure I was like taking electrolytes, taking fluids, eating really well.
Yeah, that is true.
While I could, making sure my stomach was completely full, so that I had something in my stomach in case it did happen.
Yep. Getting super high.
Yeah, I got oh my God, I got so high on Tuesday. Michael came home and I was just like rolling on the floor laughing. He's like, what is happening with you right now? Anyway, long story short for that, I got lucky. I only had one small bout of bad nausea when I woke up on Thursday, but it was like kind of came and went pretty quickly. It was kind of super early in the middle of the night, kind of more in the middle of the night. I woke up after that feeling okay. So I went up on Thursday to go to the Expo with our friend Shalene, who Michael is super proud of me for learning to finally say her name correctly. Because I've been calling her Shailene for
After
like 800
4
years.
years or whatever it is. Yeah.
She was down, she came from Alaska. She was in New York starting Tuesday with her daughter to just spend some time in the city. So they met me on Thursday. We went to the Expo. It was the first day it was open. I went in 2017 on Friday, and I just remember it being absolutely insane and Run Disney-esque in like the fact that there was clothes everywhere and you couldn't find anything and people were like all over the place and it just being bonkers. From everything I've heard from people, even the people who went on Friday, the Expo was much more chill. And I know that Christy Earl from the old Shenanigans group, who I saw a few times this weekend, said that other world majors could learn from New York's Expo because it was super organized. It never felt overcrowded. Like, it was crowded, but it never felt super crazy.
That's good.
Everything was really well stocked on Thursday. I know that I heard that by Saturday the marathon jackets were gone, but then when we were today at the finishers pavilion, there were so many finishers jackets, so I don't know whether they just hadn't put them back out when I heard that comment. I mean, it's a large expo. It's overwhelming no matter what, but I think that they did it really well, and I never felt like things were too crazy. I know post-COVID, they started assigning times, so you actually have to register for your time that you're going to go to the expo, and then those times can quote-unquote sell out. So originally I signed up for Friday, and then I tried to sign up for Thursday, and the time I wanted to go was gone, so I signed up for like the 1 to like 5 p.m. slot, and then kept checking because people changed that time regularly. And so the week of the expo, I was finally able to get the 10 to 1 o'clock slot. So I think people actually stick pretty well to those times. So I think that it allows the organizers to sort of know who's coming and going, and at least even if you don't stick to your time, it's enough people sticking to it that they're able to manage the crowds and make sure they have enough merch out during the time that they're going to be there. At least that's how it felt. All the big usuals were there. There was like the Peloton crew was there. They were taking like really awesome professional pictures. I got some a really awesome picture, like a black and white picture holding our bibs.
Nice.
That was really nice. There was some other photo ops. Grover was there, and I was so mad I missed him from Sesame Street.
I saw the photos. I was extremely jealous.
I know. I had seen his photo right after we left and right before you texted me, and I was like, I can't believe I missed Grover. And then you asked me, and I was like, I'm so mad already. But yeah, so Sesame Street was there. They just had it. It's definitely a lot more like photo ops than, say, like a Run Disney race for sure. They have like the big name wall where you can go up and find your name. They have a big wall where they have like these stickers that you stick on a wall where they have like my inspiration is, and then you fill in the blank and you stick it on the wall. or like I run for, and you can stick that on the wall. So there's like 7 or 8 different phrases, and you get to kind of like put it. And so today at the finished pavilion, they had like the big wall set up there, and so you could see like all what people wrote. So I think that's really cool. So there was definitely like some really cool little opportunities that, say, like a Run Disney race doesn't have, or like some of the smaller races like Philadelphia, while it's a larger marathon, they don't necessarily have like the large expo that does like as many things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were disappointed with the Philly Expo.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I did spend a lot of money on merch, like a lot more than usual. Like
Oh,
a
it was
lot.
special, you know.
Yeah, I dropped a good. I bought the finisher's jacket. The finisher's jacket this year was purple. It was so
nice.
pretty. I loved it so much. I couldn't say no. And they had like a bunch of different, like purple was this year's color, because they had
nice.
a hoodie that was purple that said finisher on it. And then they had this really pretty mint green sweatshirt. I don't know. I couldn't say no to a lot of it.
Nice.
So I did buy myself a lot of stuff. So then I came back home Thursday night. It was actually really nice. I'm glad I did that. It felt very comfortable and not rushed. I feel like if I had gone on Friday, I would have felt rushed. And I feel like coming back, because I wasn't yet quote unquote traveling, I felt relaxed.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't finished packing, and I knew that I could come home. I was going to sleep in my own bed. I was going to finish packing on Friday. So even though it was like an hour and 45-minute trip there and like an hour and a half back, so it was a lot of time in the car, but I still felt like it was way better than if I had done it on Friday. And we were checking into the hotel, and we were doing like all the things.
Yeah.
And then we had dinner reservations. I think I would have just felt like more anxiety about it. So I definitely liked the way I did that.
Yeah.
Then Friday we went up.
Yep.
And Michael was with me at that point. We stayed at the Hilton in Midtown. Highly recommend that hotel. It's where I stayed last year when I cheered. It's where the elites stay. So we saw a lot of fast people. We don't know necessarily who some of them were, but you could look at them and be like, I bet you that guy's fast. Yeah. I bet you that woman's really fast. We saw some of the wheelchair athletes because we saw them packaging up their gear
really cool
and all that. So that's really fun to see. Then Saturday, we woke up and we were in the lounge, and Michael looks out the window and goes, does the 5K go by here? And I was like, oh yeah, it's like right in front of our hotel. And he's like, that explains why there's all these runners going by. Yeah. But my back was turned the other direction, so I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we should go outside and cheer.
I was like, oh, maybe it's a shakeout run or something. Like, I don't know.
And then he's like, but there's a lot of them. And I was like, well, no, that's the 5K. So we went outside and we watched that for a little while. And that was actually really cool. Yeah. That's where we saw Meg, who walked up to us randomly. Mike came down and hung out with us, Run Disnerd. I know I never actually used his real name, so that's really weird. Came down because we told him we were outside, and he was like, oh yeah, I forgot that was happening. So he came and joined us. And then Chrissy Earl was doing a shakeout run in Central Park. And she stopped by. So I chatted with her for a while. I hadn't seen her. The last time we were talking about, the last time I saw her was on the Run Disney course. I think it was marathon weekend, and it was probably 2022 or 2023.
Holy cow.
It was quite a long time ago.
Wow.
So it'd been a while since I've seen her. But we were pretty good friends. We traveled together a few times. We stayed together at MCM one year.
Yep.
So it was really nice catching up with her and seeing her out there. So that was really nice, and I really enjoyed that. What else did we do yesterday or on Saturday? We went to Central Park.
Oh,
So
yeah.
gear check.
Well, I met up with you.
Yes.
Yes.
At that point, so at that point, you came to our hotel. We took you to the executive lounge because we bougie.
I mean,
And then
it was okay.
yeah, that's not what you were saying when you were housing those bacon wrapped scallops.
Look, girl.
So Tom got there. We went over to Central Park because gear check. So I will say that part of it is kind of a pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah.
Gear check is in Central Park, and it's kind of decently far into Central Park.
Yeah,
and
it's
not
pretty
by
good
the,
distance, yeah.
Not by the finish line. It's at, I forget the name of the field. It starts with an R. Rumsley.
I forget.
I'm not sure how to what the actual name is, but it's at this ball field
just south of the reservoir, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's pretty good ways in.
So it was about a mile walk from our hotel to get to it, but it wasn't right where the finish line stuff was. So I was familiar where the finish line stuff was. This was kind of like in a totally different area because I guess they have to have the UPS because it's sponsored by UPS. So the UPS trucks is where they put all the bags. The only reason why I decided to do it because I wasn't going to do it because I knew it would be a pain to get my bag there. And then when you're finished, you have to go to gear check and pick it up. And there's so many people finishing. I didn't know if I really wanted to stand in line and deal with all that. But when I got my bag, there was a Charity Village tag in it. And so they bring it to the finish line charity tent, which meant that I wasn't going to have to go someplace separate to get my bag.
Oh, that's
and the idea of having sweatpants and sweatshirt, even though I was getting a poncho, I knew it was going to be cold. So I was like, I kind of really want to do that if I don't have to actually make that extra move to go get it myself. So in the end, I ended up deciding to check that bag. So Tom, Michael, and Mike all walked with me. And then we went to Battery Park to do the quote-unquote
We went to
Rise.
Bryant Park.
Bryant Park.
Bryant Park. What did I say?
Battery Park.
Oh, Battery Park is definitely very much
Look.
further away.
The Bronx is up and the battery's down.
Springfield.
Yes, I'm sorry. Bryant Park. We went there for the quote-unquote Rise and Run meetup with the 3 hosts of Will Run For.
Featuring Will Run For.
Featuring guest starring. Special guest star.
We had...
Oh, can I say one thing about Bryant Park?
Yeah.
Get some bathrooms.
Oh, yeah.
They got an entire Christmas village.
Yeah.
They set up a temporary bathroom with 2...
Skating rink and stuff,
Yeah,
too, don't
whole
they do
skating
all that
rink,
there?
everything.
Yeah.
Christmas village. 2,000-3,000 people in there. There's one bathroom working.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Come on. I know we're barely a functioning country at this point. Can we get more bathrooms?
Well, Sarah disappeared for a little while, who was at the meetup, and she went across the street to Whole Foods.
Smart. Good call.
No, it was not a good call because apparently that's where everybody goes.
No, sorry then.
Because of the problem that there's no bathroom at Bryant Park. So that's where she went, and she was gone forever. And when she came back, we were like, what the hell happened to you? And she was telling us how there was one bathroom that half the bathrooms were broken. The one bathroom she went into barely flushed. And when she came out, she said to the lady, you might not want to go in there because I'm pretty sure it's about to overflow.
Oh, God.
Lord.
So the Whole
Lord.
Foods bathroom was no better than the circumstance she went in.
God.
However, we did have a lovely meetup. It was
wonderful.
Christmas Village, so
Yes.
it was much more crowded. And Doug actually said he forgot that was even happening. So it was a little crowded, but Tom and Mike and I ended up being able to find a place for us to sort of spread out. And then I stalked this table of people that were looked like they were about to get up, and I'm like, I'm getting that table for us.
You did.
And I did. And so we were by the fountain so that we had a little bit more space. It was really nice. Doug came with some cookies. We met Cody. We met Liz. We met Sarah.
Can I just say
Mm-hmm.
that everybody who was there was super nice and it was really fun chatting with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Brenna was also there.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed talking to Cody and chatting with Cody. And I think I told this to Mike or Run Disney. I was like, man, he is the nicest guy. And this marathon was his first marathon.
That's awesome.
Like, it was weird how much I enjoyed just chit-chatting with Cody and then his wife and daughter, both of who are huge Swifties. So we got to talk about Taylor Swift a little bit. So, I don't know. It was a really fun meetup. It was really nice.
Yeah, it was. It was a good time.
Oh, Gretchen.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one who ran last year, but she was cheering this year. I was trying to think who else was there. Trying to look back at the picture.
Oh, yeah, because there's some people who were there and then had to leave. And
Yeah. Sorry if I missed you in naming people. But yeah, it was a delightful little meetup. Super glad we were able to make the Rise and Run meetup where...
Who was supposed to be there? Like, what happened? Did I miss that?
Oh, no, it was just because Doug put it together in the Rise and Run group.
Yeah, no, this is really just me trolling Doug because there were 3 hosts from a different podcast for the meetup that he was planning. Instead of him planning, a Will Run For meetup where the 3 hosts were going to be there.
To be fair, does anyone engage in our Facebook group, really?
No.
I mean, I guess
I don't know.
a
I'm
little
not
bit.
on Facebook,
really.
so to be fair.
Also, I didn't realize, I was scrolling through Instagram, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, and I was like, God, what is this? Why do I have like so many runners in my feed? And it's because I was on the stupid Will Run For page instead of my own page, and I was like, I need more garbage in my Instagram feed.
I like how she called our Instagram stupid.
No, because yes, it is stupid. It's all running stuff. I want like memes and celebrities and not that.
People asked for the group page and then nobody engaged in our group page. So I don't know where those people
Some people do. Some people. Let's be fair. Some people do.
I think when it first launched, it was like there was more activity in there.
Yeah. What happened, guys? Come on. So Sunday morning, I raised enough money for the start tents at Fred's team. Fred's team has its own bus over to the start line. So I met in Times Square at 5. It was like 5:20 when I got there. And I have an Instagram follower, Carrie, who had mentioned that she was running for Fred's team as well. And she was going to be there. And she pretty much immediately found me as soon as we got there and was like, hey, so nice to meet you. So we started chatting. We sat next to each other on the bus. We took the big group picture in front of or in the middle of Times Square, which is really fun. I love that they do that. Got on the buses, went over to the start line. Security moves super fast and super efficient. The start village is very overwhelming when you first walk into it because there's a blue wave, a pink wave, and an orange wave. And each wave basically designates where you are on the Verrazano Bridge. So the pink wave is down below. The blue wave is on the right-hand side of the bridge, and the orange wave is on the left-hand side of the bridge. I also was able to get into wave 1 with Fred's team because I'm on active chemo or active treatment for breast cancer. So I had emailed them and said, hey, I don't know whether there's any possibility of getting like an AWD designation or how that works. And so they had me fill out a form and they sent it in for me and I was able to get into wave 1. And so I was going to have extra time, which was amazing. The start village is broken up into all the different waves. In color, and in each color There's like a Dunkin' Donuts tent. There's all your own porta potties.
Oh,
There's
nice.
bagels and coffee and all kinds of things for everyone because it's a long, for some people it's a long wait. People don't start till like 11:35 and they get to the village, some of them at like 7 o'clock. And
Oh, wow.
so they're there for the long haul. I got into the start tent. The tent was a tent that basically had 4 walls around it. You had to have a wristband to get in. There was tarps on the ground, so you weren't sitting directly on the ground like most of the people were. They had their own porta potties. They had their own bagels, their own coffee. It was really cool. I got to meet Julie, who was my personal person from Fred's team, who gave me all of the weekly updates and information about what was going on. I also managed to get interviewed for TV and for Fred's team on video. So that was really cool. I don't know whether, when, or if those videos will drop someplace. But if anyone sees me in a video, please send it to me. The other part that was really nice about Fred's team is they made announcements for when they gave a 10-minute warning for when the corrals were going to open for each wave. Then they gave you the warning when the corrals opened, and they gave you a 10-minute warning before the corrals closed so that you could make sure you got into your corral on time.
Oh, nice.
So you didn't even have to set your watch or your timer for yourself. They announced it for you, so it kind of like kept the panic down for everyone. So that was really cool. I did not manage to get myself a Dunkin' Donuts beanie because the Fred's team tent was nowhere near the Dunkin' Donuts tent, and I tried to find one on my way to the corral, and the guy was like, you have 10 minutes to get into your corral, and the Dunkin' Donuts truck is very far away. I was like, okay, never mind. I did hear that they ran out of Dunkin' Donuts hats, so I hear there was some garbage picking of Dunkin' Donuts hats, but they normally are fleece. This year they were like this weird stretchy material, so I'm actually not that disappointed I missed out on it.
Like a dry fit hat
Yeah,
almost?
I guess they were a little weird looking. In the corral, I met another woman who had stage 4 colon cancer, and we chatted for a little bit. This was her 3rd time doing it on active treatment.
Oh, wow.
So that's super inspiring.
Yeah.
I wrote on my shirt, running with stage 4 breast cancer. I put my name on the front and my back and put that on both the front and the back because I don't know if anyone saw in my video, I was with the 3:15 marathoners. I was terrified I was going to get run over.
Yeah, and then you also have the people coming behind you. And
that's why I put it on my back, because I was like, I am going to get run over and someone is going to murder me for running so slow. I know that like it's a super inclusive race, but I was still afraid that runners were not going to know and they were going to run me over. I didn't put it on my back for like super attention, but I did get a lot of attention. The weirdest part about the marathon is I've always said the crowds are crazy and insane and the best, and they are. But because I started in wave 1 and everyone runs, I'm telling you, I was like with the 3:15 and I had the 3:15 pacer and the 3:20 pacer in my corral. So the only people that are left with me are the people who are like me. And that's pretty much it. So it went from like, I'm in this giant crowd when I started to there is no one around me. And it's bizarre. It was quieter than like a small time. It was like being on a trail, basically. There was like 2 people in front of me that I could see and like 3 people behind me. And that was it. And then all of a sudden, wave 2, and it was a good like 25 minutes. It was a while that I was by myself, and I kept looking behind me, waiting for wave 2 to come. And all of a sudden, this one runner just comes flying by me. I was like, oh,
that
wave 2 is coming. And I look behind, I turn around to look behind me again. And sure enough, this second runner
Stampede.
comes flying by me. And then I look behind him and I just see like And it happened in dribbles, but then all of a sudden the stampede came and I was like, well, I'm no longer alone. And I will say this created somewhat of a dangerous situation when we got into Brooklyn, in the part of Brooklyn that we ended up in. And I was trying to not get aggravated because this happens as you continue on. And I heard this from multiple people today. At some point, the crowds, and I don't know how and if you would ever be able to prevent it. So there's blue tape, and everyone's supposed to stay behind the blue tape, but nobody stays behind the blue tape. I think we talked about this last year on last year's podcast when I cheered. Like when Melissa, Marsha, and I started, we were behind the blue tape, and then people started swarming into the street. So we started like moving closer and closer. And then all of a sudden, there was all these people in front of us. Well, the same thing happened this year where like everyone's kind of out into the street onto the like the shoulder, but then they start encroaching on the actual roadway as well. And so now the roadway and the shoulder that's supposed to be the course has gotten narrowed down to just the street. And now these really fast runners are going by, and all of AWD and all of Achilles and all of these runners are now all running 13 to like 17-minute paces. And now we're mixed in with all these people who are running 6 to 7 minute miles flying by us. And there's no right for us to get to because all the people are in it, like the crowds of people who are cheering. And so it just got really dangerous really quickly. And I literally watched somebody, a blind athlete, a visually impaired athlete, who was tethered to their guide, and somebody ran in the middle of and hit into their tether because they just aren't paying attention and they're trying to run really fast. And there was no place else for the guide to move over to.
It's interesting you say that because I think after, did we see you? Like, I posted a video. It's part of our highlights about the marathon, but like, I think you pointed that out or something, and then I showed it on our story, like where I was standing. I'm like in the crowd of spectators, and then I just kind of panned to the behind them. There's a good 10 feet plus of like empty space that is between the blue tape and the spectators and then the runners. Yeah. So like, you're right. I mean, it was completely encroaching.
Yeah. And it's slightly frustrating as a slower runner who is run walking and needs to stay to the right while all the faster athletes are passing us. So I did find that really frustrating. And I was trying really hard. I remember right before I got to you, I was actually literally yelling at people to like move over because the Achilles athlete, I watched the visually impaired athlete kind of get run into, and then the guy who tried to basically run through their tether had to like backtrack because obviously he realized what happened. And there was this crowd of people on the right side of me, and all of them are like half have their arms like cheering into the crowd. And I get it. Everyone's enthusiastic and it's great to a point, but it was frustrating. And I was trying before I got to you not to be in a bad mood because this was New York and I wanted to make sure that I was like enjoying every moment. And I could feel my stuff starting to get frustrated, and I had to be like, stop. Especially because I knew that you were coming up soon. So I did have to get out of that negative space a little. But you guys were at like mile 7.2-ish? 7.1?
Yeah, pretty much.
7.1?
Yeah, we could see the 7 mile sign from where we're standing.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good spot because it was pretty light crowds right there. Because on one side of the road was more commercial.
Okay.
So there wasn't like a ton of people over there. So it wasn't as crowded as like other parts of Brooklyn was where you couldn't even walk down the sidewalks or anything. You had plenty of space. So actually there, people shouldn't have really been in the street because there was plenty of space. But it was a great place to cheer. We saw almost everybody, right?
Mm. Yeah. One thing about New York is they have a really good app. And
Yeah.
somehow the Wi-Fi, like whatever the internet situation was in the city, was pretty decent for the amount of people.
Well, where you were, it was. I went into SOS mode quite a number of times. It was a little actually frustrating. It was like right as Michael was texting me, kind of like where you guys were. All of a sudden, I went into SOS and I was like, damn it, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this back again. And then on First Ave, I got frustrated again about it because I didn't have service for quite a bit of time. And I knew you guys hadn't gotten on the train yet, or you guys were still on the train, and I'm like, crap, like I don't know if I'm going to get service back because First Ave is so crowded
Yeah.
that I was like,
Yeah.
if I don't get it back and I can't find them, luckily as I approached like right towards 80th, I got it back and you guys were coming out up at 86th. So that actually ended up working out. But yeah, as I was slipped in and out of SOS mode almost the entire race. And like I was up trying to upload videos several times and they just weren't going through. So I started some stories and some things made it up and some things didn't just because the internet was super spotty the whole time I was running.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went from there and then we took the train up to, like you said, 86th and saw you up there. But
Yeah, before that though, I mean, you set at 7.2 for quite a while.
yeah, because we saw Christy and Shalene and you saw Donna and
I saw Donna. I
then
saw
I was back down there for Mike.
Yeah. We saw Cody. We saw Thumbs Up Ken. I shouted him out. Cheering for the New York City Marathon. It's one of the better experiences I've had.
I knew you were going to love it.
The running community, because
I knew you were going to absolutely love it. It's totally your vibe.
I was standing on the side for a while, and then I kind of went into the median, which is like elevated. So like I'm not in any runner's way. Like I'm up a curb and then on top of another
Yeah.
like concrete structure. Like there's no, like I'm not.
It was like 3 feet high. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not impeding anybody, but like I could see both lanes of traffic coming straight at me, and I could see the horizon where it was coming from. So like it was easy to see people and like read their name and then shout them out, and then like it was
because
just
it's a race
cool,
where everyone wears their name,
and it is such a varied group of people, like all kinds of like paces and nationalities and charities, or a ton of politics, like a ton of like any kind of social or any kind of thing that someone wanted to express was written right on their chest.
Yeah.
It was very, very interesting. Like it was a very, very entertaining for the for like the cheer squad, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's just like the vibe is so electric, and you're just, everybody's, and we're catching people at mile 7, so you're not that far into the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're still, everyone's for the most part not suffering yet.
Also, we were on a downhill, which was nice.
So to backtrack to that median part, so the New York City Marathon, I said, has the pink, the blue, and the orange waves. So all of the waves have a slightly different course for the first 2.5 miles, a little bit more than 2.5 miles. So you go over the Verrazano Bridge or under the Verrazano Bridge, and then the blue course is on one ramp, off ramp. The pink course goes on a different off ramp, and they're pretty similar to where the 2-mile marker is as you're coming off of the bridge. The pink that goes under goes like a completely different way and up and around a different like ramp, and then the courses come together, and so the blue and the pink end up on one side of the road that you guys were on, and then there's that big median in the middle, all down. Is that 4th? I think it is, all the way down that road.
Yeah.
Whereas the orange stays on the left side of the road, and that's the difference between the left and the right side, and why there's 2 different sides there. And you're not really supposed to, quote unquote, cross over. Like, you're supposed to stay on your own course. But the only problem with that is that if your people are cheering on the different sides, like you kind of have to cross over. So I technically crossed over before the 3 courses come together, or all 3.
Everything joins
at
together.
8, over by the Barclay Center. When you make that turn, that's when everyone merges together, and then Lafayette is the first street everyone goes down together. Which I think is also why Lafayette also is as crazy as it is in general, because now all 3 courses are together. The street is not nearly as wide, and then there's the same number of people cheering.
There's more.
In a much more compact space.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Lafayette's like a crazy party.
So after I saw you guys, Michelle K, our friend Michelle, was cheering in the same spot we cheered last year. So I knew exactly where to find her. So as soon as I turned on the road, I knew she was going to be down past this intersection, and then kind of over where we were last year. So Michael was like, when I left him at 7.1, was like, hey, I'm going to run and I'm going to meet you where Michelle K is. I'm like, cool. So I keep going, and I get to Michelle K, and I'm like, where's Michael? He's not here. Okay. So I'm standing there for like 3 or 4 minutes. I'm like, I don't know where he is. I tried to find him on Find My. His dot's kind of big, so I'm like, I'm not quite sure where he is. So I text Michael. He doesn't reply right away. So I call him. I'm like, where are you? He's like, I'm at this road. I'm going to be right by you soon. I'm like, okay. He's like, somehow I got behind you. I don't know how I got behind you. I'm like, I don't know either. So I'm just standing there waiting and waiting and waiting. And eventually I'm like, where are you? I'm telling him I'm at Franklin. He's like, I don't know where that is. He finally tells me where he is. And I say it to Michelle K. And she's like, that's like really far away from here. And I was like, what? Apparently Michael had followed the app. And because I had slowed down, so the app is great for giving estimated times. If you're staying at the same exact pace that you were the last time you crossed the timing mat, only I went from doing like 13, 50, 14-minute miles to petting dogs and slowing down to a 16 to 17-minute pace. And so the tracker had not realized that.
Yeah.
So Michael thought I was like close to mile 9 when I was still at mile 8.
Yes.
And so he sprinted to try and catch me at mile 9, where I was still at mile 8.1.
I mean, if we want to talk about Michael running, like, Michael ran from Manhattan across the Brooklyn Bridge to get to where we were cheering the first time.
Yeah. So I ran almost 9 miles in the morning, or 8.5. Then I ran another 3 and change to the spot where Aaron was not at. And then I ran another 3 miles back to you guys at 4th and 2nd.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So that was my morning. I had done a half before any of them got to like 8 miles.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so he finally was like, I'm just going to stay up here by mile 9. He kept telling me, I'm where you make a left. I'm like, I just made a right. He's like, no, you made a left. I'm like, I just made a right. Because I had made a right onto Lafayette. And he was thinking that I was up further.
I was I was flying. I was running hard, right?
And I'm like, to make sure
how is she pulling away from me if I'm running this fast? What is going on?
And I was like, did you check Find My? He's like, no.
because I'm like, I got the app open and I'm running. And I mean, I am like I'm like really running hard. And I'm like, there's no way she's ahead of me. This is impossible. She's doing like 15-minute miles. How am I not catching her?
Oh my God.
I was like, this is insane.
Yeah, at that point I was doing like dog petting pace. So like there was definitely no like, and so I'm like, he's like, I'm just going to stay here. You catch up to me. I'm like, okay. So I now, after standing for like 7 minutes with Michelle eating potato chips, start running again to catch him. And I get to mile 9, I guess, or wherever I was. Yeah, I see the mile 9 marker. I still don't see Michael. So I just start asking the crowd, has anyone seen my husband? Because I'm clearly like standing there just like looking for someone. And everyone's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm looking for my husband. Anyone seen him? And some guy's like, I could be your husband. I was like, nope, just looking for mine. But eventually I found him.
Was he hot? You could have gotten an upgrade.
Oh, God. So eventually I did find him and I took off. We saw each other, hugged, took a picture. And then I kept going on my journey. The crowds are amazing. I mean, I took so many videos. I pet over 20 dogs for sure. I took videos and pictures with, I don't know, at least 18 to 20, I think was what was in my reel that I made. It was a really fun time petting dogs. I was trying really hard to not take things too seriously. In the beginning, I will say the beginning, I was having like this weird heel pain. I still kind of have this weird heel pain. I think for a couple of miles, I started getting in my head. I was annoyed about the crowds. And then it was around when I saw Tom and Michael and Doug that I was like, I need to stop this. Like, none of this is too serious. I came here to have fun. I just need to not care about the crowds. And if people knock me over or I knock people over, then who cares? Like, I need this to be a good experience. And so I ran where I could. I kind of went out of my intervals pretty quickly just because I was stopping for like pictures. I saw a sign that said, "You are not almost there." And I gave it the middle finger
Yep.
and made the girls laugh a lot that were holding it. And so I stopped for a lot more signs. I found like SpongeBob on course. I found Kermit on course. I found all kinds of character stops on course. I stopped for 2 fireball shots. I also had Michael give me some medical marijuana chocolates. So I got high at some point. And it was just a good time. The crowds carry you through until Queensboro Bridge, and then Queensboro Bridge is exactly what I remember, which is basically a dead silent trek of awfulness. And it's long. It's a long trek. But then there's that spot when you're coming towards the ramp to come off of it, where you just hear that roar and it's like this rumble. And you just realize it's the crowd on First Ave, and you just get this adrenaline rush of like, yes. And then you have like a down ramp, and you come around the corner, and there's just a wall, a sea of people. And so when I got into, like, you're entering Manhattan, and as I came around, I just, like, I had my camera on. I will say, when you are recording the people, they get crazier, and they, like, feed into the fact that they are on camera. And so I came off that bridge and I had my phone in my hand recording them, and everyone was just like, yeah, Erin, let's go. And so that was really awesome. And I really enjoyed that. And then I would pump them up being like, come on, Manhattan. And like, they just like feed into it and love it. The energy is crazy at when you give the energy back to the crowd. I probably stopped to pee 800 times. I think I peed 6 times on course. So I was hydrating really well.
That's a good
I
thing.
had a lot of electrolytes. I never felt like I was overly crampy. I don't know. I don't have, I guess, a lot because I feel like for the most part, a lot of it was just me enjoying myself and petting dogs. At 86, I saw John from Rise and Run, and he was standing there by himself, and I was like, "Where's Michael?"
Oh boy,
And
here we go. Here we
I
go.
was
John's
going
like-
to say, because none of his other podcast friends were there and he was abandoned.
Yeah, it was just John, and I'm like, "Where the heck am I going to tell?" And this was also the point where I told you I was in SOS mode a lot on that road. So I'm like, I don't know whether I missed them, and
We were doing our
they were
best
on
to
the
get there.
train.
We were trying.
And when I came off, I told them that I was at 15, and they were like, "We're still on the train." And I was like, "Well, the train moves faster than I'm going to be moving." So I was like, "I also have to pee." So I stopped at the bathroom. I took my time. I took 2 extra dog pets. Sloan Kettering was out there for Fred's team. The cheer station for them was out there, so I went by that really slowly. Some woman had this really tiny fluffy dog that was the cutest thing ever, so I stopped for a while. I thought that I'd killed enough time, and I get to John and I'm like, "Where's Michael?" He's like, "I don't know." So I stood there for like 8.5 minutes waiting for Tom and Michael. At one point I was like, "Run." He's like 1 block away. I'm like, "Cool. I guess
I
I'm just
did. I
waiting."
ran again. I ran down the street.
He did.
I mean, the city has to be so bad to navigate during that.
It's bad to navigate in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a
Like,
good day. Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I think
I will. Yeah, I agree. It was. The subway wasn't bad,
no.
but yeah.
Anytime you have to walk from place to place, though, it's crowded, and it's crowded on a good
Oh my
day.
God, Lafayette
But
was insane
yes.
walking down.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even move. I went a block off so I could move, and
Yeah.
it was.
And even
insane.
at that,
Yeah.
when you go a block off,
Still people,
it's still
yeah.
so many people trying to get to the spot that they
Yeah.
want to be on Lafayette or on First or on
Yeah.
whatever street you're trying to cheer on. So I get it. It is crazy. And I know that you guys knew you weren't going to see some of the other people.
Yeah, we wanted to see everybody else in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Because we knew later on, just realistically, we weren't going to see
And
them
that's
towards the end.
Yeah.
honestly kind of what we did last year when we cheered. We saw everyone in Brooklyn knowing that it would be hard to see everyone again on First and or in Central Park. So
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
According to Strava, in the end, I ran a 6:50, but my official time was a 7:35 or just under 7:35. I would go ahead and say that 45 minutes was waiting for Michael and petting all the dogs. So I could have finished probably a sub 7 if I had just run, but what fun would that be? And so I don't know. I don't have anything else about the race that was super remarkable. I lost an AirPod along the way because some guy ran into me trying to get in front of me to get his picture taken.
Yeah. So if
assholes
anybody,
on a running course is universal, even to
Yes.
the majors.
oh my God, this, and I was starting to talk about this before we got to the race recap, but the amount of abrupt stopping that you witness in the New York City
Oh.
Marathon it's not
Really?
shocking, but it's like
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, actually.
There's
Yeah.
a lot
I'm
going
surprised
on.
because that race has to have at least I would say majority seasoned runners.
yeah,
Like at least that have done something.
there were a ton
before
of
doing the New York
walkers.
Marathon.
There were a ton of just any kind of pace you could think of.
Yeah, and I think
mean, I made sure I raised my hand every single time. I also, when I would walk or get to a walk interval, I raised my hand because my watch counts down for 5 seconds. So I raised my hand at the 5-second mark and held my hand up for the full 5 seconds and then looked behind me before actually stopping every single time.
Well, I think the biggest thing with people stopping is they see someone they know on the side of the road and just like, boom,
Oh, it's
stop. And it's like, whoa, there was a few times like, yeah, where we were, I was like, oh my God, this is going to go bad.
or people
real
cutting
fast.
across.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, the cutting across thing is definitely
Is sketchy,
huge one.
yeah.
And
I
again,
knew
yeah. And again,
which
back to like,
sides of the road you guys would be on so that I
Yeah.
could make sure that I was prepared and I would cross the roads. It's hard to cross the road though, especially as a run walker or when you are a run walker and you're still in the, say, like the 9-minute milers or even the 10-minute milers, and you've got to try and get across the road. It's really hard.
Well, I remember we did like the recap of the Cherry Blossom 10 miler, and we were in, I mean, an okay corral, but I think we were surrounded by like 10-minute mile runners, and I felt like we were going to die. Like,
Yeah.
it was so thick, the crowd, it was just. They're running so fast. Ryan nearly died, like turning around to get Nicole's glove. Like,
Oh, God.
it's precarious out
yeah.
there. So
Yeah. Sorry, Tom, what were you going to continue to say?
when I was, and as we had mentioned, the in spots, not the entire course, but in spots, like the spectators encroached into the the course.
The course, yeah.
So like there were, I wouldn't call them choke points, but there were tight spots.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I think we did pretty well for the plan that you gave us, where like we spent a lot of time at mile 7, got up to see you for the second time, went over to Central Park, saw the finishers, or not the finishers, the people coming in.
Yeah,
at
mile 24.
about mile 24. I thought we navigated a very busy city on a very busy day fairly well.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that there are very few spots on course that don't have people, like going from like Brooklyn towards Queens. There's some quiet spots, and then in Queens it gets loud, and then as you turn another corner it gets a little quiet again, and then it gets loud. When I was in Queens, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, if Emily listens, the very first person that ever inspired me to run a marathon, Emily, she moved out to Pennsylvania. I haven't seen her in years. All of a sudden, she's in front of me yelling my name. I actually have to share the picture because there's this picture of me where I was like, oh my God, because I was not expecting to see her, and she starts yelling my name, and I see her and she starts crying.
Aw.
It was so awesome. Shout out. I know she follows our Instagram page. I'm not sure if she actually listens to the podcast, but she just ticked up one of my "how many times did Erin cry" moments. I remember the very first time I ever ran the Ocean City Bridge Loop, and it was one of the first time she was training for the Marine Corps Marathon. And I was like, I could never run a marathon. And she was like, you could absolutely run a marathon. And I was like, I could never run a marathon. And it was around that time that my friend Corinne, started toying with the idea of running a marathon and had asked me if I wanted to run one a couple days after we had run that race or that run with her. And she had told me that. And she caught me kind of in a moment. And I was like, okay, I'll do it because Emily said I could.
Aw.
And so she was the first person that ever made me think I could run a marathon, and she was out on course, and it was a really beautiful moment for me. So if you don't listen to this, I'll send you the audio clip because I absolutely loved having you out there. But anyway, yeah, for the most part, it's a very well supported race. Harlem brings it pretty well. I would say once I got over that last bridge, we were at around mile 22 at that point. I was starting to like really struggle, and I'm like, oh my God, I have 4 more miles that's a really long way.
Mhm.
I have 4 more miles. And then I'm like, I still have 2 miles until I can see Tom and Michael again. That feels like forever. So I don't know. I was definitely in my head. You could tell that the crowds could see it on my face because they got extra like loud as I went by, or they would be like, "You totally got this, Erin." Like they could see it. Like I feel
Yeah.
like when you can see it on someone's face and you see their name on their shirt, because I've cheered this race before, and I'm sure Tom and maybe Michael can attest to this. When you see it on their face, like it makes you want to cheer extra hard for that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I felt like in mile 22 to 24, that's where I was at. And I could feel like those people's energy, like really much more focused on me because they could see it in my eyes. But I made it to Michael and Tom. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just gonna. One observation that I had of you each time we saw you, other than in Central Park, because in Central Park you kind of like I think you broke down a little bit, not in like you're failing, but like I think the emotions when you saw Michael that time,
Yeah.
but like at mile 7 and then what is that 17 or something?
Yeah,
Was
17,
it-
Yeah, like
just over
17,
17 and a half.
yeah.
You looked fairly fresh, right?
Yeah.
You looked like someone who has been through a really, really terrible year, but at your core, you're a runner. And I think your body remembered that this is something that you just do.
Yeah.
And this is a hard race. Like anybody that would listen, I'd be like, God, the concrete in New York is harder than concrete anywhere else. Like it's an unforgiving, hard course.
Yeah.
But like, I think you just kind of acclimated to it and remembered that this is just what you do. And I think you put so much pomp and circumstance over whether or not you could still do these things given everything that you've been through. And I think this was just kind of a temperature check, right? Like a nice reminder that, hey, I can do these things. And you've just really upped the ante with everything with, the cancer diagnosis and all the treatment that you're going through and everything that you've been focused on mentally. Like, I think this was just like, this was your playground and you were just out here playing.
Yeah.
Right? Because it could have taken you 10 hours, and that wouldn't have mattered. But you could have also not pet the dogs and not done the fireball and not done any of this crap, right? And you could have gotten sub 6 or whatever the hell it is, right? Like, you could have probably ran a better race, but I think you ran your race to kind of prove to yourself that you could still run a race like this, because this is a hard one. It's not an easy one, right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's not like you popped out, no shade to a 10K or a half, but like you didn't just go do like Shamrock and fun run a Shamrock, right? Like
Yeah.
you gotta buckle down for like a New York City Marathon. But I think
Yeah.
you did fantastic, and I think it was a good reminder
I
to
think
yourself
at
that
mile
you can.
17 and a half, you said, you don't even look like you're sweating.
I would have looked like death warmed over. Like, I just remember, like, yeah, whatever. I'm just saying, like, I think
Yeah.
you proved to yourself that you can do some stuff.
I will say 20, I remember even thinking to myself as I was going over one of the bridges, like that last bridge, like, I am in the pain cave.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a pain cave and I am in it. But seeing you guys at 24 definitely reinvigorated me. And I knew I was so close at that point. After I left you, I think that I still had a couple moments where I was like, "Ooh, God, another mile," because I hit like the 25, and I was like, "Ooh," and then I saw like whatever the next thing was, and I was like, "Ooh," and then I remember seeing the 800, and I'm like, "God, that's still so far." But at
Central
that point,
Park is huge. Like like we saw you and then we were going to walk like kind of the outside of it to get over to maybe where you would be.
Yeah.
And I was
It's
like,
so big.
Michael, we were just here yesterday. He was like, we're north of where we were yesterday. I'm okay. But we were walking forever to get out of Central Park.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yes.
I'm like, how big is Central Park? Good God, it just keeps going.
We were so tired by then because it wasn't bad. Like Brooklyn wasn't bad. We were fine, and we were on the train. I was okay, but we stood most of the time. And then we stood for so long at 17 and Central Park
Yeah.
that we were just like toast. And it was starting to get cooler out, and the sun
Yeah.
was going
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So we walked to the south end of the park, and we're like, oh my God, we're never getting there. We're never getting there. We're never getting there. And then we got there, and we're like, oh my God, she's going to be so long coming out. Can we stand out here this whole time? And I was like, the hotel's like 3
At
or
that
4
point,
blocks
the
away.
hotel's real close.
I'm like, let's just go to the lounge at the hotel. And so we're sitting we go to the lounge where it's warm and get some drink, just like, like some waters and stuff like that. And then we look and they start bringing out food. And we're like, oh.
Bacon wraps scallops.
Oh, yeah.
Bacon wrapped scallops.
Oh, yeah. Well, this isn't bad. And I was like, yeah, well, we'll just wait here. And then once you're done, I'll run up and get you. And Tom can stay here and hang out in the lounge,
Oh, God, that's
because we
funny.
couldn't get to the finish anyway.
No, I know.
So it
You
was
guys
like,
weren't
yeah,
planning to meet me
yeah.
at the finish. I had already told them that it would be very difficult to get to the finish at that
Yeah.
point. And even if they had, once they that means that they would have had to walk up also. Like they would have had to walk all the way south to walk all back north
it would have been
to get to the finish.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way. And then by the time when you actually cross the finish line, you have a long way to go before you can meet your people. So I'm like, there's no way. So I had already told him, don't even bother with that. But yeah, so when I left you guys, I was in a better place. But as you just pointed out, the journey south
Oh my God.
to where you make the turn to get onto like where you're going to go to Columbus Circle is much longer than I
Feels
remembered.
like a million miles.
And so
I swear.
I hit the 25 mile mark. And for some reason, I thought that once you hit the 25 mile mark, you pretty much were going to turn. And it wasn't true. And so I hit the 25 mile mark and I'm still going south and I'm still going south and I'm still going south. And I'm like, oh my God, why is mile 25, after 25, why is mile 25 to 26 so long? What is happening? And then I see the 800 and I still have to make the other turn. And I'm like, I'm never getting there. But eventually I did. And I saw the mile marker 26 and I stopped to take a picture in front of it. And I think it was right at that point. I had emotional points throughout the entire race, but at that point I was like, oh my God, I'm done. Like this is it. I'm done. Like I just have to go up that really annoying hill and then the finish line's going to be there and I'm going to be done. And I saw the 200 meter one and then I just started bawling.
Yeah.
And then I was just ugly crying my way to the finish. And I finished in 7 hours, 34 minutes and some odd seconds. And I went and got my medal. I got my poncho. I got my runner's bag, recovery bag. And I went to Fred's team. I got a couple pictures. There was big signs with Fred's team people everywhere. So they told me kind of where to go. I went to their tents. They treat you like royalty. You pretty much walk like to where the charity area is and somebody escorts you to the tent and then they got my bag for me because they looked at my bib number. They're like, you go inside the tent and sit down. I'll go get your bag. They went and got my bag for me and then they got me water and chips and you sit down and they're so nice and they ask you how your race was. And they were just fantastic. It was really great. So that was really nice.
Did you get to meet Jennifer Connolly? Was she there?
I did not.
Because she was running for
she
Fred's
also
team. Because Paul
ran-
Bettany was there with Fred's team, like on the course, cheering.
Was he? He was not at mile 17 when I.
I don't know. He's got like a ton of
station.
pictures with him. I don't know exactly where he was, but he's with a ton of people with Fred team.
Well, that's
shirts
annoying.
And stuff.
No, she ran stupid fast too. I saw she ran like a 3-hour something marathon, 3:45. I'm like, what? Sheesh. And that's my journey. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It was emotional at that time. I'm obviously, for some reason, not emotional. I go back and forth, I guess, because then Michael wrote a really nice post and I sobbed through that. I saw Tom afterwards. I didn't sob when I saw him. I did, however, get myself a giant plate of bacon-wrapped scallops immediately.
You ate them all.
And I ate every single one.
I had already had bacon wrapped scallops at that point, so it was okay.
Guys, here's a hot take. I would rather just have a scallop. I don't need them bacon wrapped.
I don't need them bacon wrapped, but at the moment of finishing a marathon, they were everything in my entire life. So I didn't care. They could have been a scallop. They could have been bacon. They could have been bacon wrapped scallops. It could have been a scallop with bacon stuffed inside. It could have been anything else in the entire world. It could have been a piece of toast, and I wouldn't have even cared.
I thought we said no
Amazing.
politics. Let's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I think it's interesting to recap it when I haven't quite even wrapped my entire brain around the experience yet. It's a lot. Tom put a lot of it into some words. I think that there was a big part of me that wanted to prove to myself that I could still do something like this. And I think part of what I realized today too, because I said this to Michael, I don't think that I'd realized how long it's been since I've run a marathon. Because I mean, I was running them like 2 to 3 a year for a little while. And in 2019, I think I ran 4, maybe 5. So this was like marathon number 16, and then I was running ultras, and so I've run 26 marathons or ultras, but it's been 3 years since I ran a marathon, and 2 years and 3 months since I ran anything over a marathon, because I ran loopy and that's where I got the stress fracture. And I don't think I'd realized how long it had been. So I said on my Instagram, I don't know that I would want to call this a comeback, because I feel like I spent a lot of time like with that mentality of I'm coming back from something. And I don't think that that's what this was for me, because this had so much more to it, having done it with cancer. So I'm not even sure how yet to like describe what this was for me.
I think, I mean, obviously your impression of it's much more important than mine, but I think you could call it a temperature check. You could call it a really good indication of where you're at with Dopey kind of looming down on you, right? Like,
yeah,
because
I
think you did pretty well, and I don't know how much pain you're in now, but like,
honestly, I'm not in as much pain as I expected. My feet were killing me yesterday. I woke up, I stretched my feet a lot.
Right.
I've been doing like a lot of ankle like turn, like, when I'm sitting on the couch, moving my ankles a lot. My feet feel much better. My quads are sore because I ran down. Anytime I could run down, I was running. So my quads are kind of tight, but they're not like, I'm not like I ran my first marathon sore.
Yeah.
Which is what I was sort of expecting. I think this was definitely a gut check for me in regards to like, can I still not only do it physically, but mentally? And I said on Run, Eat, Drink when they asked the question, could you compare any of your marathon experiences to how cancer is or how your journey with cancer has been? And I said, no, because there's nothing in this world that can compare to what it is like to learn you have cancer. There's nothing else. I mean, except for maybe a different terminal disease, to learning that you have something like this. But I think the marathon, in the opposite way, prepares you for cancer, which is bizarre to say, but in a marathon, there are those moments where it is so hard to get through, and you have to mentally push over that hump and tell yourself that your body is stronger than your mind. And so when your mind wants to quit, your body will carry you through. And in that same way, that's sort of what cancer is. It's your body and your mind, like and you need to decide like whether how you're going to live. And I think that's what this was for me, was me deciding how I want to live.
That makes sense.
And now I'm going to cry.
I know.
On a very special Alf.
Oh,
Yeah.
tis the season.
I was super proud of you.
Mhm.
Like that mile 24, that was an interesting like place to kind of post up, because like if you get there, you're going to finish, right? And people were getting real emotional, but you got like
Yeah.
2 long ass miles through that park
Yeah.
in front of you. But like people, like the culmination of it now, like it's just thick, like walls of cheering, screaming people. And I had noticed that a lot of people had alcohol in that park. Like people were walking around with White Claws and Tall Boys and all kinds. I'm like, where's people getting this alcohol? Like, and it was all in like these paper bags. I'm like, damn it, it's a block party, and I didn't get anything. But like it really, like that city comes out for that race
Yeah.
better than anything I've ever seen. And it's not surprising, but like I'd never seen something like that. Like any
I knew
race
you
that I've
were
ever
gonna
been,
love this.
any race that I've ever been in, even if it's very well supported, there are some stretches that like,
Yeah, I mean Baltimore
You know.
has like big areas where there's a lot of cheering, but there like unless you've ever been to New York City and watched this event, I don't even know if there's a way to describe it. And I always say that there's that Poland Spring bus that was like, we like our block parties 26.2 miles long, and I always remember that bus because that is like the perfect way to describe what this race is. It is a 26.2 mile block party, except for maybe like 1.2 miles of it total.
I also noticed, because I was just trying to take in, like, observe stuff so we could talk about it. There's like an Etsy shirt culture in this race that I have not seen in other races. Maybe little pockets, but like you'd have like an entire family of like, or group of like 20 people, 20 plus people, all in like Aaron's crew with like Aaron's face on it. Like people bring their entire family out to travel to New York because obviously it's a destination location, but like for this event.
Yeah. And the best part is like the amount of people that have all different creative, one, signs, and two, ways of like, that's why I wanted you to have the flag, which actually your video with Doug and the Rise and Run sign cracked me up.
Amazing.
But that's why I wanted you to have the flag, because people, the things that people have. So like that Kermit head that I took a picture with, it was because someone was holding a giant long pole that had a giant Kermit the Frog head, because that's how they told their person to find them. Like, go find the giant Kermit head. Or like people just have like big posters made of like their person's head as like a child. So you'll just like be running and you'll just see like a baby picture of like some random person, because that's how like they are like their person is to find them. So like the amount of signs and crazy things like that is great.
No, it was a super fun event. I'm very glad I went up for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have anything else to say. I mean, I mean, we've talked about this for a very long time. I probably missed something along the way, but like
Yeah, it's hard to remember.
it's hard to remember it
everything.
all. And bottom
a
line
blur.
is I did it. I'm super proud of myself. I did this race exactly the way I set out to do it. I think that there were some moments in the beginning where I was getting in my head. I forced myself out and said, no, make sure you're taking in the moments. And so from then on, I did. I think it took me a while even to pet my first dog. And that was really sad. I feel like I missed like the first 5 miles of dogs. Sorry, first 5 miles of dogs. Any other takes
I'm good.
from you guys?
No, not that I can think of. We just, we did our cheering. Cheering was a blast.
One final shout out for Doug, because to get to you at 17, he walked me and Michael to the train.
Yes.
And he pointed at a train and he was like, that one.
Yeah, just get on this.
Get on this and go. And because I was like looking around, I'm like, I would panic. I'd get on the first train and we'd be in Jersey. And I'd be like, God.
Yeah, we would have been, yeah. Who knows where we would have been.
Thank
Thank you,
Doug.
Doug, for
Thank you.
being our New York subway Sherpa. We really appreciate it. And then shout out to everybody. Obviously, those that we don't know, good job. Everybody that we do know that ran it, very good job. We're very proud of all of you.
Yes.
I am 10 seconds away from registering for this, Aaron. It's stupid. I literally looked up what your fundraising commitment was, and Diana won't let me ask her for
$3,500.
Did you say 35?
3,500?
That's not that bad.
Oh
I
my
can
God.
beg that out of my family in a year.
Oh,
3,500 is the fundraising commitment for Fred's team, and you get the bus to the start, so no stress, which I think would be clutch for you.
Yes.
And then it is 5,500 if you want the start tent, but that's not nearly as important.
All right, let's table this for a second.
Okay.
We'll come back to it.
We should end this with something good.
Let's wrap up with something good.
Cool.
Oh, quick. Wait.
Mine's. Oh,
I got a quick thing.
okay.
I forgot a goal getters. Big shout out to our favorite world champion, Wendy Larson,
Wendy,
and cyclist, and Chris, of course.
Yes.
I would say as a team, Wendy and Chris crushed the World Championships 24 hours. I believe she did 200 miles, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Just awesome.
Amazing. Congratulations,
They're
Wendy.
awesome. Love those two.
You're all yes.
Just incredibly nice and kind and just a
Yes.
badass.
I agree.
Yeah.
So just wanted to give
She
Wendy
called me a
shout out.
badass, and I mean, like, come on.
Hey, she knows what she's talking
Come on.
about. She gets it.
Does she? Because I feel like I'm nowhere in her league.
Maybe she was in a 200-mile delirium when it happened. I don't know.
So my something good is the city of New York. Because man, they bring it. And obviously I could talk about it forever. I did just talk about it forever, but this city goes all in. They love marathon. I mean, it's an event for the city of New York. Everyone is involved, and they bring their dogs, and they put signs on them. They say, "Pet me," and I appreciate it. And they cheer your name really loudly, and they lift you up when you are down. And the city of New York, there is nothing like it. So thank you, New York.
I honestly think that should be our only something good. Like, unless somebody else says something,
No.
I
think
think
that
like
works.
that's
I think
it.
that sums
I feel
it
like
up.
Yeah.
Unless, Tom, you have something you really want to talk about. You look like you have something you really want to talk about.
It's along the same vein. But like I was standing like cheering people on for like 2.5 hours in Brooklyn. And what I would do is I would like zero in on somebody and read their name.
Yeah.
And then when they were kind of perpendicular to me, I would say, I see you, Tony. I see you, Anna. And like they perk up so much.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like they're in a sea of people. And to get singled out like that, like it's just making strangers smile was such a fun way to pass the time.
Yeah. Honestly, that's like that was my favorite part about cheering New York last year was when you see someone and they're kind of looking down and you are all of a sudden like, I see you, so and so, and they look up and they like, yeah. And honestly, in that mile 22 to 24, that's what kept me going. Was like you could see that people saw it in my eyes and they were like, that's the person I'm going to cheer right now. City of New York, there's nothing like it.
There you go. I'm going to wrap us up with a quote. I found one. It's pretty topical. It goes, everyone wins the marathon. We all have the same feeling at the start, nervous, anxious, excited. It is a broader, richer, and even with 50,000 people, more intimate experience than I found when racing on a track. New York is the marathon that all the biggest stars want to win, but also has been a stage for an array of human stories more vast than any other sporting event. And that is from Gret Waits, who is a winner of 9 New York City Marathon.
Wow.
I thought that was a good quote.
It is. I love it. Thank you for listening to my very long story, everyone.
Now everybody go register for a race. We will talk later. Have a nice night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.